Yeah. Hey. Well, yeah. Goonies never say die. You know what time it is. We got horror suspense. Listen, Kevin Trav digging in the bin. Dirty Dancing and Encino Man. You never know what you'll find in Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. He's got all these flicks from way back when. Marty McFly and the DeLorean. Gotta love the cage and whatever he's in. Face off Snake Guys, you know it's a win. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, let's begin.
Welcome to Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, the podcast where we take your favorite movies, give you some facts, tell you the plot, and there might even be a few jokes along the way. I'm your host, Kevin.
And I'm your other host, Travis.
Yeah, bud, how's that intro? Is that I'm sipping some tea, so my voice legogenas, I think is what they're called. Your voice legogenas are really really buttery over here.
I have never heard of the legogenous, but you say the tea's soothing them, whatever that is. It's like your throat tentacles, your voice tendrils.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. When I have a sore throat, my voice actually sounds better. Like, people like it better. So I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's that way.
I kind of have one of those, like, you kind of get one of those, like, raspy, hoarse, like kind of like I sound a little sluttier, you know. I think that's what it is. People are like, "Ooh, what is this? What is this guy?"
I'm gonna start smoking around you and putting ground up glass in your Modelo's. I don't know, something. I'm not.
I thought there was already ground up glass in Modelo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's part of its natural flavor, you know. Very tart. Very tart on the palate, man.
Kind of crunchy.
Here we
Beer
are,
with pulp.
dude. We're here. Hey, we made it. We made it all the way to the film Magnificent Seven.
Right? And what a better episode number for Magnificent Seven than 19.
Yeah. We're at the mercy of the bin, though. You know, if it didn't land on 7, it didn't land on 7. But it did. I couldn't even do a 17. Like, it couldn't even get to a 17 for us.
Not even divisible. Not even like a 21, maybe a 14.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's okay, though. You're right. If it had landed on something, more convenient, people would have maybe suspected there was no bin and this was all prearranged. But this is just further proof that it's not.
Yeah, and odds are we probably wouldn't have paid any attention to it anyway.
Probably not.
It wouldn't have occurred to us that was interesting or unique. But I'll tell you, what did occur to me that was interesting and unique is I spent a little time with Unky Doug. He, man, he called me. You know, the only reason I still have a landline is so that he can call me. Like, he just, for some reason, will not call a cell phone. He has something to do with the government. I don't know exactly what it is, but he has to call you on a landline, and then you have to know the passphrase, or the code words, rather, to get him to talk to you. So you just hear, you know this. You know this. I'm just telling this for the listeners out there. You just hear breathing on the other end, and you're like, I almost said it. I almost said the code word. Doug would have been so mad.
Retcon we'd have to redo the whole intro.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, he calls me up and he says, "Hey, Kevin, come over here. I need your help with something." You know, and so I was like, "All right, sure, Uncle Doug." So I go over there, and he's got this. I don't know if you've heard about his newest scheme. I don't want to call it a scheme, but he's an entrepreneur. His next business enterprise that he's really getting going on. He's going to offer gourmet smoked meats.
Oh, now what's gourmet mean to Uncle Doug?
Well, I think it just means he puts salt and pepper on it.
I was going to say that's a very French word for Uncle Doug.
That's right. Well, I think he saw it down at the Arby's when they had that one sandwich, and he just really liked the way it sounded. He said, "Gourmet, that sounds real good." You know, so you got Uncle Doug's gourmet smoked meats coming, right? All right, so
I can't wait.
He's built this smokehouse because you got to have a smokehouse for your gourmet smoked meats, and there's this tulip poplar that was extremely close to this.
Is this a tree you described?
Yeah,
it's a tree.
It's a tree. Yeah, it's a poplar tree. Top poplar tree.
Also, it could be it sounds like a mixed drink. It could be like a mixed with like a gin and something like what is it called? A Mootsie poplar.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, a Bootsy Collins. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like a Tom Collins, but with a little more funk to it. So. What we're doing here is he's got this huge poplar tree that needs to be cut down, right? Because it's right next to the smokehouse, and he's afraid, it's going to fall on the smokehouse. And we do the first, first things first. He called me because I have that truck that he helped me buy. I don't know if you remember this. He did the negotiation.
Yeah.
So he feels like he partially owns it. So that's when he calls me. He wants to, use the truck. So we hook the truck up to the tree. Just, you want to put just a little tension on it to pull it away from the smoke shack, right? So we do our wedge cut, and then we go to do the back cut. And Uncle Doug's cutting it, and it's amazing. He's holding a Mick Ultra. He started drinking Mick Ultra now. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's his new beer, right? And so he's drinking this beer. He's cutting the tree with the other hand, and he just hollers at me. He says, "Go on, get after it." And I said, "What, Uncle Doug? You can't just slam on the gas with this truck. You just got to pull." He's like, "No, get on after it." And you don't argue with Uncle Doug, right? So I hit the gas pedal to the floor. Turns out there's some punk wood in this tree, right? So the side of the tree sort of blows out because we're pulling it too hard. It's falling directly towards the smoke shed, right? His smoke shack. And I'm going to tell you this. I thought Uncle Doug had lost a step or two. I thought maybe that roller skating injury would slow him down. This man, all right, he was wearing his cutoff jorts. All right.
Yeah. Of course.
No shirt because it's summertime. You don't not wear a shirt during the summertime if you're Uncle Doug. And he is holding a beer, and he's wearing cowboy boots. These cowboy boots, they're old, they're worn down, they're slick. Somehow he runs up the back of this tree as it's like parallel falling towards the ground, jumps up, double kicks it. Right? Boom, like mule kicks the tree so that it changes its direction. It doesn't land on his smoke shack. Boom.
What is he, Mario?
Pretty much, yes. It was like redneck Ninja Mario, and he just lands on the ground like a superhero. Dude, doesn't even spill a drop of his beer.
Get out of here.
100%.
And it was open. You can guarantee it was open before all this.
When have you ever known Uncle Doug to hold a closed beer?
I don't know. I was just trying to poke a hole in the magic here, but dang, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So look, man, if you're starting to think Uncle Doug's slipping a little bit, bud, you better think twice about that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, the last time I heard him tell somebody to go and get after it, he was yelling at big women at a wedding we went to, and he's just a character. But I'm happy to hear he still got it. And did everything turn out? No injuries, trees out of the way, we're good.
Yeah, no. And on the upside, he's now got some wood that he can use for the smoker. So
that's amazing. I can't wait to taste some of this gourmet, as you described, meat.
Yep, he said it's going to have salt and pepper.
Both.
Yeah, yeah, both of it. So.
Going all out.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's great. You know what's not so great?
What's that, bud?
Kev, is I gotten into the stand-up a little bit in the last few months, and things have been going pretty well. I was already thinking, like, Netflix will show up anytime now and ask for a full hour or so. So I head on down roadways here to a small bar out in the middle, just kind of like one of those glorified interstate exit bars. They call it a brewery, but it's a converted garage from the 60s that somebody thinks they're making good beer in there. But anyway, I go in there. I'm going to tell some jokes. And I got to say, only like 8 people show up. And they're not
Hold on. I have a hard time believing that. Someone with the comedy acumen of a Travis P. Terry, okay, who is in my opinion, Netflix ready, and you're telling me only 7 or 8 people showed up?
So I mean, I wasn't on the marquee. I was just the guy that opens. I was the one that like, hey, you get up there and do 10 minutes while we wait for perhaps more people to show up, but no one did. And Uncle Doug, of course, came because he lives down that way, and he wanted to pop out. Now, this was a progressive establishment, and Doug was a little uncomfortable, but he hung tight for me. And not even he laughed.
What?
He was, he's not much of a loud laugher anyways, but all these people were just, they smiled, they look amused, but they weren't laughing. It was the coldest 10 minutes of comedy I've ever delivered in my life. And I got to say, too, wasn't just me. The guys that went on after me had a lot of the same observations. They were just like, just a quiet room tonight. But it was a different feel for me. That was my first time being up there like, oh, okay, so this must be what it's like to suck.
You had never tasted that before, right? Well, let me ask you this. You and I both, obviously have had tough nights at stand-up. which audiences?
Why'd you say obviously? I don't.
I mean, obviously, not everybody hits a home run every time they get on stage, man. I mean, it's not all going to be winners. You know, even fine comedians like Carrot Top don't succeed all the time. You know, but oh, by the way, Uncle Doug loves Carrot Top. Just I didn't want to rub salt in your wound, but he big fan. Which is a tougher audience? So, say the audience at that brewery. Or trying to make your wife laugh.
Oh, easily. My wife is the way tougher audience. I'm not sure she's capable of laughter. I'll have to check.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe try like a knock joke just to get a baseline.
She laughs when I hurt myself. She thinks that's the best.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
like if I walk into a door frame or fall down the stairs or stab myself on accident. I'm not just out there finding new ways to.
Trav, are you okay?
I'm great. I'm just, you know what? I make a lot of fumbles around sharp objects.
Okay, fair.
What are you going to do?
Fair enough. Yeah, you and I both have lamented the fact that our wives just don't find us as funny as we think we are.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
I think so. Yeah, I think they're trying not to laugh. They don't want to give that satisfaction that you got one over on them, but deep down they're like, my hubby's such a yucker. He's a yucksman. So funny.
Yeah, you're a real yucker. That's exactly what she's thinking. Man, I'll tell you, the Magnificent Seven. Just to get back on topic, because we're getting into like our own personal feelings about life, and no one cares. No one cares. No one wants to hear it. Let's just move on. But the Magnificent Seven, the movie we're talking about today, was released October 23rd of 1960, directed by the amazing John Sturges, writers Akira Kurosawa, Walter Bernstein, and William Roberts, starring Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, and Charles Bronson.
Studded cast. Studs for hunks for days.
Just weeks. I mean, you got weeks to months worth of stud in this movie. I mean, it is an all-star cast, but I mean, you're coming in, you're saying, hey, this movie is The Magnificent Seven, so it better have a good cast. Am I right?
Yeah, no doubt. And it does. I mean, it's kind of if you throw Robert Vaughn in there and what's that one guy's name? Chortz Buchholz, whatever, the German guy who plays Chico.
Right.
I was pretty close on that, I think. I mean, the list goes on. It's good.
My favorite member of the cast is or my favorite character / of the and cast member of the Magnificent Seven. Actually, man, I don't know. It's a hard split between Eli Wallach or James Coburn. Like, I like both of those guys.
Oh,
they're both just
you do
fantastic.
like James Coburn.
And Eli Wallach, out of all the actors that were in a lot of these westerns, man, I just always loved seeing him because he's so like magnetic on screen, and he always plays like kind of a roustabout or even just an out and out bad guy. And one of the stories I love he tells about this movie when they were making it, like he's an actor's studio guy, like up there with Marlon Brando, like really heavily trained and very sophisticated actor, and so he would go do these westerns, and like he wouldn't want to tell any of his like his artsy fartsy acting friends that he was doing it, but he would think about his character, and he said like one of the things that always drove him crazy when he watched westerns or movies with like a mustache twirling bad guys, there's like no indication of what they actually spent all their money on, like what they like steal all this money for. And in this movie, his idea was like, if you notice, Calvera's got like all of this jewelry and like gold teeth and like a lot of bling, and he's like, I wanted it to look like he was actually spending all of his ill-gotten gains, which I just love. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's a little bit more world building than you might typically see in all these old this is not really technically a spaghetti western, but a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them. It kind of came out around that same time, but this is a good old-fashioned, American western. Now, Travis.
Yeah.
How about
that's me.
A little 6 Degrees of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What do you think about that, my man?
Dude, coming off the heels of busting some Ghost, and busting it felt good. Of course, two of us. Harvest Black in the house. Great episode.
Oh, so good.
Gotta link the Busters to the Magnificent Seven. And both movies have a star-studded cast, but they're filmed, 23, 24 years apart. Mm-hmm. I was thinking there's a chance I could find two actors in those movies that would have shared a film. You know, again, long list of great actors on both sides. Could not find it. The most interesting link I could find. That's not to say it didn't exist. I just wasn't able to find it. Yul Brynner, who's in this film that we're going to be talking about today, The Magnificent Seven, the lead. He was in a movie called Fuzz that I've not seen, and I'm going to be honest, hadn't heard of. Fuzz. Hadn't heard of just simply Fuzz. He's in that with Brian Doyle Murray, who happened to share a household with Bill Murray.
Wait a minute. That's not connecting actors to actors by movies they were in. You're talking about they lived in a house together.
All right, let me do it this way then. Yul Brynner was in Fuzz with Brian Doyle Murray, who was in Caddyshack with Bill Murray.
Okay, all right, fine. Was he? Who was he in Caddyshack?
He's one of the dudes.
Just one of the dudes.
He was in. He was in Caddyshack.
God, how do you feel being Bill Murray's brother? And you're just like, everybody's like, who?
Yeah,
Brian?
and you're Brian Doyle Murray. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's not as cool as being just straight up a Bill Murray, man.
Yeah, it's not Bill Doyle Murray.
You know, I'm hot on the TMZ all the time. By the time this episode comes out, this won't be relevant anymore. But I read a TMZ article that said Bill Murray was dating the lady who wrote the Milkshake song.
The Milkshake song about bringing all the boys to the yard?
Yeah.
And Bill Murray's dating?
Yeah, she's like 40, mid-40s, and he's like 71. And I'm like, man.
He's only 71? Bill Murray looks older than 71.
He's looked like he was 71 since he was 23. I mean, let's be real. But it's, you know what, man? Maybe he's just super charming, very smooth.
Huh. I have to Google it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, this is a thing as of 6 days ago. Yeah. Kel is 43 and Bill Murray 72.
Isn't that wild?
Sharing some milkshake with each other, apparently. That is the wildest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's not an exaggeration. I am blown away.
My milkshake brings all the senior citizens to the yard,
They get over, they're like, is it sugar-free? Because I'm like...
I got diabetes. That's your connection?
Could you put up a banana in mine? Could you put a little banana in mine?
God, see, we got back to Wilford Brimley. It's easy.
We did.
This is a piece of cake, man. Well, how about some of those reviews? You go out there, Trav, and you find out what the common person on the street or the common person on the internet has to say about this movie. Have you done it for this time? I really hope you have, because we've got approximately 10 minutes to fill with this.
Yeah, I got you, bud. Now, I will say on Letterboxd, the people that love this movie were very, very long-winded about it, and so I couldn't include all of those. But I was able to find a couple that, were podcast-friendly to read. We got a 5-star from Barnaby Tucker, and this is actually from yesterday. This is as of last night. Barnaby says, I completely adore this movie and all of the details in it, but I must mention again Robert Vaughn, who is so outrageously sexy to me, and his outfit in this movie is my personal favorite. Like, that's my dream man.
Wow, really?
I'll say also no punctuation at all in that. Like, not even one attempt.
Yeah, well, it was probably typing with one hand.
Of course.
You got to hit that shift key to get that punctuation. So they were just Robert Vaughn and one hand typing, Yeah, I don't need to draw any. I just made a dirty joke, Trav. Oh, my God.
I will say you don't need the shift key for commas and periods, but I liked where your head was at.
Okay, well, like an exclamation, like if he was really excited about it. Question mark. Okay. What if he was questioning?
Fair. Fair. Okay, fair. You win. You win again.
He is. I think Robert Vaughn's really good in this. And he does, like, each one of the performers in the cast does something unique and different with his character, and his character's very like meticulously clean, whereas a lot of the rest of the guys are kind of a little more rough around the edges, and he's like a little bit more of a dandy. It's so good. This movie's so good. Have I mentioned how much I like this movie personally? You were talking about getting long-winded about it. I like it, Travis. I was texting you how much I like this movie. I was sending you pictures of me just fondling the DVD cover and smiling.
Yeah, it was as awkward as it sounds, folks.
Listen, I almost died to a tree, okay? So I'm going through some stuff, all right? I'm working through it, and I'm allowed to like a movie, okay?
That's hey, calm down. We're all good. We're all good. I do want to say, though, I think finding Robert Vaughn to be your your love or your outrageously sexy choice in this lineup is weird.
A little bit.
I mean, there are, but it's steeped with sex. There's lots of sexy in the movie. I just think that's a off the beaten path choice. Up next, 5 stars. This is a rewatch from Josh Underwood back in 2018. Josh says, just a Friday feel-good movie. Also, I didn't do any work at all this morning. So he's just living the good life back in 2018.
Oh my God! So he just slept late, got up, had himself like some tasty breakfast, maybe sat on the porch, read the paper for a little bit, and he said to himself, "You know what I need to do? I need to get that Magnificent Seven and watch that tonight."
Mm-hmm. I didn't do anything all morning.
That does sound like a pretty awesome day. That's pretty I played Zelda in the morning
all day,
and then we watched Magnificent Seven. So I feel like I can relate.
Dude, yeah, you and Josh are spiritually connected. Up next, people who were meh on it. Look at these wham babies. We got a 2.5 star from NC Graham back in August of 2019. They say, this is at least my 3rd time watching, and I'm still completely unable to connect with any of the characters. Yul Brynner hot, though.
Why are you watching it 3 times, you liar? You don't watch a movie 3 times that you don't like, that you don't connect with the characters.
They just wanted to see more Yul Brynner. I get it.
You got Google image search. Like, you don't even need to
That's true.
sit through the whole movie. He does look good in those black jeans, though.
Yeah, he's like a real sexy Vladimir Putin.
What?
Up next, we got 2.5.
No. Ew.
You're not going to let that stand?
No, I will not let you compare Yul Brynner to Vladimir Putin, all right?
Well, I don't mean like philosophically. I'm sure they're very different, but I mean like looks-wise, they're pretty close. Up next, we got 2.5 stars from Byron Watched, which is an interesting name to have if you watch a lot of movies. Byron Watched says, starts promising as an enjoyable team-up Western, but I will say, I'm reading this verbatim, but runs out fumes after the first battle. Although the action is filmed well and the score is exciting, the repetitive conflicts and monologues become tedious, often dragging the film to a screeching halt.
It's just that.
What do you think about that?
It's just that Putin has like a totally different facial structure to Yul Brynner, and like
no,
Brenner's
they're close. They're almost the same.
He's like tanned. I mean, and Putin. I mean, he looks like someone like exploded one of those pastry bags with all the like white frosting in it. I mean, Jesus, come on. Out of here. Anyway, what's the next review?
We got a 1.5. The people that are low on these people hate it. This is
these people.
1.5 star from Gleb Kuzin. Both made up words, I'm sure. Ugly, stupid, boring, and absolutely meaningless. Absolute none of a story, shallow comic characters. One of the worst remakes and an absolute best example of how bad Hollywood blockbusters can be.
Shut up. Just shut up. What
I didn't write it,
pile
Kevin.
of garbage. Like, the movies, first of all, if anything, it's just beautiful Western landscapes you got going around. You think that's ugly? Like, why this shallow story? I'm sorry, not everything has to be the greatest of depth, all right, and subtlety. Sometimes you just need the good guys to win and the bad guys to lose. Sometimes you just need that, and there is nothing wrong with that. I will never get off this soapbox and say anything different other than if you enjoy it, you should enjoy it. And this is this is a thing that really, really grinds my gears, Trav. This is one of those people. This is one of those people who just is so worried about what other people will think of them. They're just so worried, like, oh, if I don't say this movie's bad and boring, they'll think I have a shallow, pedantic taste, and like they try to. This is the kind of idiot. This is the kind of moron who tries to like do the New York Times crossword puzzle in ink, but then just messes it up, but won't admit they messed it up, so they just scratch things out. That's exactly who this person is.
Dang, dude, you're like the Tucker Carlson of movies.
Why don't look like what is with you in the horrible right-wing comparisons tonight? Jeez.
Just having some fun.
You call that fun? Get out of here.
Yeah, well, speaking of fun, we got a movie to get into. We got a whole. I mean, I know you took. I don't know if you took notes or if you just wrote the script out verbatim. So we got a long night ahead of us.
Yeah, you're looking over here. I've got, I would say, at least 6 or 7 pages of notes on this movie, but we don't have a long day. We're going to make it fun. Like we always do, bud. We're going to make it fun. Now, the movie opens, all right? Just nice Western landscape. It's got this terrific musical score, Academy Award nominated musical score, by the way. Really, really popular score. And so you get a dusty look at Calvera and his men are riding into this little village. Now, just to frame what is gonna play out, just so that we're not belaboring it as we go on. Calvera comes into these different communities. He's sort of like a gang leader, right? And he's got this posse of men that follows him everywhere he goes. He goes to different villages. He robs banks, and he basically does extortion on these villages. He says, "Hey, we're going to wipe you out if you don't give us food and money and women and drinks and all the stuff that they want." And so he comes riding into this picturesque village that we are going to get very invested in before very long. And there's this, just everyone just is awkwardly staring for a while. That's just so weird. Like everybody wasn't, like they stopped doing their work and they weren't necessarily running away, but they were just staring blankly at Calvera and his men as they came in. I just thought that was weird. It was like real Children of the Corn kind of situation.
I think, too, you realize that this isn't the first time that Calvera has been through. It's not like this is his first time hitting this town. And that's kind of the crux of the film, is that he makes his rounds. He has a bit of a routine. He makes his passes through the canyons and through the villages, taking advantage of folks. So they're just kind of like, not again.
And he's a talker. Oh, he's a talker. He comes in smooth. He's talking about, how nice it is to live in a little village. It's not full of sin like the big city, and just all of this stuff, man. And Sotero is just sort of sitting there taking it. He's kind of like the village's mayor or like the boss guy around the village, and he's just sort of taking Calvera's speech with a grain of salt. And eventually he gets a little tired of it, and he sort of gives a little lip to Calvera. Now, if there's one thing Calvera likes more than smoking a cigar, it's slapping a man about 6 times.
Which I can relate to that, actually, because if you gave me an opportunity between like a nice cut cigar, real thick, like maybe even like a Cuban or something, or just smacking out of a dude about 6 times. I mean, it's close. It's close.
Wow.
For me.
Wow, you're sounding a lot like Putin over there. Maybe I think I kind of see where this is.
I mean, if it's no repercussion, if it's just like, hey, man, you can slap me about 6 times, that'd be fine. I'd be like, I've always kind of wanted to slap a guy. Maybe I'd do it.
Can you say it's like a jerk so that I feel better about it? Like whoever the guy is a jerk?
Yeah, it's Vladimir Putin.
Okay, yeah, I like that then. So Calvera and his men are getting ready to ride out of town. Well, someone, Raphael, I believe is his name, is a villager, and he is just incensed. He's angry, and he says, I'm just enraged, and so he charges.
Not sure what his plan was. I don't know what his plan was.
He charges 20 armed gunmen with a farming implement. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea, but he gets shot in with an imaginary bullet for his trouble. He didn't
sneak up on them. Their backs weren't to him. It was broad daylight. He just ran to his death.
And you'll see this quite a bit in this movie. This is kind of an old Western thing, but like someone will get shot and they'll like grab the spot where they're shot and there's no blood or anything. They just like fall over and they're like, ah. So that you definitely get that imaginary bullet here. But poor Raphael has been dispatched, and Calvera is like, God, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? That was so dumb.
Like, bro, I just came here to steal all your food and stuff. I didn't come here to kill anybody. I don't know why you had to do that.
Crazy.
Now you made me feel bad.
Well, the villagers are, as you can imagine, somewhat riled up by this situation. And after some...
You ever wonder if some of them were like, I mean, Raphael, that was dumb, but like, he was our bud. Yeah,
I mean, that's the way I would feel. Like, Trav, if you just lost your senses and charged at a gun, and I'd be like, oh, man, Trav is so dumb. And then you're like, I'm just laying here. Could you call the ambulance? I'm like, no, you
man,
made your decision. Hey, them Nintendo games, what are you going to do with them after you're dead?
You can have a couple of them.
Oh, man, can I have Maniac Mansion?
Yeah, that's the one you can
That's the
have.
one I can have. Awesome. Hey, don't risk your life. I love you, bud. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Okay. In them streets.
Yeah.
All right. So, the three farmers decide to go consult the old man. They just call him the old man, and the old man says, "Listen, you guys are all farmers. You're not going to be able to fight these guys. You got to go hire somebody who can to get rid of these guys." So, I'm going to just call them the three, because the three are kind of like, three friends, the three musketeers.
Right, of the town. Yeah.
Right, and they're like kind of the village leaders in addition to Sotero. So they go to this town. I guess it's a little border town to try to hire some guys. And what unfolds is probably one of my favorite Western scenes in any movie ever. You've got this salesman who's in town, and a guy just drops dead in front of him. And he says, "Oh man, this guy, I feel bad. He just dropped dead in front of me. I'm going to pay to have him buried." And the funeral home owner says, "I'm sorry, you paid for it. I was going to do it, but I can't do it. And it's because there are a bunch of white guys in this town that don't want this Native American buried in their cemetery, and so I can't do the funeral." Well, Yul Brynner's character, Chris Adams, is listening to all this play out, and he says, "Well, do you just need someone to drive the hearse?" And the funeral owner says, "Yeah, that's the gist. I need somebody to do that. I mean, you could get shot at. That would be bad." And he says, "Nah, that's all right. I'll do it." And so he hops in the hearse, and Steve McQueen's character, Vin, says, "Well, this seems like fun." So he borrows a shotgun from a guy. I guess it's a Wells Fargo stagecoach guy. And and they hop on in the hearse to take the body up to the cemetery.
Yeah, and I was curious, like how the white dudes would know the race of the guy being buried in the hearse. Was there a memo that went out? Why?
No, I think he was like known around the town. Like they say his name, so like it was like Frank or Jim or something like that. So like they knew him. So
because when I watched this, I was like, man, maybe they just hate people who drive hearses. Like that was a connection I made. I was like, man, they're just rude town.
No,
they just don't like people being buried.
No, just garden variety racism. That's all it was.
Okay.
And
man, I'm just so naive and gullible. I'm like, what?
And
why?
Well, I mean, they said it in the dialogue, Trav. So, like, I don't think it's that you're gullible. I think it's just you're not paying attention. All right.
I was eating Doritos, and they're loud.
Oh, they are.
When
yeah,
you crunch
hear
them.
the crunch. You can't hear anything. Well, they elect to ride this hearse up to the cemetery. And we get our first look at Chico, who is a younger. He's going to be like the young, impetuous member of the group later on. He's like following him, and he's way too close to where there might be gunfire and not thinking about it. Well, somebody takes a shot at him from a window, and of course Chris, he's got the eagle eyes, so he sort of sees what's going to happen. And Vin, Steve McQueen's character, just whips around and blasts the scatter gun into the window, presumably killing whoever was there. I mean,
yeah,
they're going to need to do another funeral run. But they get the body up to the cemetery, and there's some guys that have formed a makeshift posse to keep them from getting in. And Chris, he just shoots them. He just shoots them in the arm and in the hand. And I gotta say, these guys took a bullet in the arm and the hand. They got their pistol shot out of their hand, basically. The old gag. Didn't even flinch. Like a bullet went through this man's hand. He's like, that's all right.
Maybe he's like a starfish. It'll grow back, or I don't know. You're right, though. Yeah, he doesn't react.
That's right. I love that scene. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens there. So they are successful.
But that sets up the cool, right? Like now you know these two guys, Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. These guys are the epitome of cool in this here side of the West.
Yeah, that's right, man. They've got ice water in their veins. That sounds cool, right? I said that. Ice water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Sure, yeah. Well, they were successful, and the three from the village see them being successful, and they say, "Well, these are the guys we got to talk to." So they later meet Chris in his room, and basically say to him, "Hey, we'll give you everything we have," which is a bag of like 2 watches and like some kid's baby teeth. Like that's what they brought to pay the gunman with, you know. And he's like, well, I've been offered a lot of things for my work, but never everything. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, which is interesting. I also found it interesting that, Yul Brynner, not a, his accent is decidedly non-westernized, but he's advertised here as a Cajun man, and I don't see that ever come out of his character at all.
Well, maybe just because you believe all those Cajun stereotypes.
Maybe. I just thought there would be a little more Cajun-esque things about him.
You're like, why is he wearing a shirt and he doesn't have a gator on his hat? That's weird.
I was like, why is Vladimir Putin dressed as a cowboy?
I hate you. I hate you so much, and
What?
I hate your face. So Chris does decide to help the 3. After all, he's sort of moved. You see that maybe it's not just money that motivates him, though sometimes it certainly is. And he says, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to come with you, and you're trying to buy guns, but let me tell you, it's easier just to buy people. People are cheaper than guns because guns are expensive. So let me help you hire the right guys. So they hold tryouts. I don't know a better way to put it. They put out the word that they're looking for tough hombres to try out. Well, the first one to show up is Chico. And Yul Brynner does this sort of clapping gag where he's like clapping his hands, or he gets Chico to clap his hands as fast as he can, and then Yul Brynner pulls the gun on him, and he claps the gun between his hands to show him how fast he is, right? And Chico, and also I guess he's trying to like say, hey, look, kid, this ain't your line. This ain't what you need to be doing. But poor Chico, he gets a little scared. He gets a little riled. He gets a little terrified of the full-on cowboy life.
I think he realizes he's out of his depth. I mean, Jesus, this Chris, this is a real gunfighter. You just saw him shoot 2 men in the hands.
Yeah. I mean, he's so good. So Chico ends up leaving. He's like, I can't hang with this guy. But don't worry. Our friend Chico's going to be back later.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, next, Harry is going to show up. And Chris, again, these are tryouts. So he sort of hides behind the door, seeing if the guy's dumb enough to just walk in and not check to see if there's somebody behind the door.
Right.
The door swings open. Harry doesn't come in. He's waiting outside the door for whoever's inside to come out. Shows he's a what's that? Smart person. What's a good term there? Wily?
That's okay, wily. That was a weird time for you to just forget words trying to describe a smart individual. But yeah, this
Crafty.
is, folks, I do want to announce, like, this whole first kind of act of the movie is the Fellowship of the Ring act of this movie. We're getting a band of good guys together because we gotta head to Mordor and take on Calavera very soon.
You dang right. Well, Harry says, how much does the job pay? Chris says $20, and he's like, nah, Chris, I don't believe you. You always got the line on something. He thinks there's some more money involved. He thinks there's some like gold or trinkets, and that's kind of a callback that gets brought back quite a few times during the movie.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty funny. It's because he'll just have, I mean, we're kind of spoiling later conversations, but there are a few times where he's just trying to pry with a lot of the villagers, like, hey, so tell me about that gold mine. They're like, what are you talking about? That's not a thing. He's like, come on, I know there's got to be something around here. There's got to be some treasure.
Oh, that's right. It's a diamond mine, isn't it? And they're like, no, if we had a diamond mine, why would we be farmers? Like, it doesn't make any sense, Harry. But Harry, you know what? It's what motivates him. But Chris never lies to him. He's like, look, man, it's literally, we're only paying $20. Like, this is it.
He's like, okay, sure, wink, wink. I bet we are. Okay.
So that means they've got one. They've got Harry. Well, they head over to the bar because that's what you do if you're looking for tough hombres. You head on over to the bar. And Vin, Steve McQueen's character, comes in, and Yul buys him a drink, and he comes over, and Vin is a little down in the dumps. He's like, I guess I'm just going to have to take this job as a grocery clerk, and because there's no gunfighting work to be had, except for this job I heard about down in Mexico, shooing some bad guys away from a village down there. And Yul's like, yeah, that's the job I'm recruiting for. I'm butchering the dialogue. It sounds cooler in the movie. There are just a lot of really good one-liners.
I kind of liked your casual I liked your casual. We should rewrite this movie with just very understated dialogue. Like,
Yep, that's the job I'm planning.
yeah, I applied for that. You doing that? Yeah, I'm doing. You want to come? I parked in the back. If you want to go on down, yeah, we can go.
But this scene has one of like the best accidental burns in any movie ever. So Steve McQueen's character says, "You know what? Hey, I'm gonna turn this down." And one of the villagers is like, "Oh, I definitely understand. You know, being a grocery clerk, that's good, steady work, and it's safe." And Steve McQueen's like, "Yeah, all right, I'm in. Fine."
But the villager was very sincere. He was like, "Yeah, I'd rather do what you're doing than shuck corn and be shot at every other month."
So we now have two. We've got two of the Magnificent Seven. Well, the next day,
and they do a fun thing. They help you count because he holds up. He says, "How many you got?" And he says, "1." Then he says, "No, now you got 2."
Oh, I do.
Little finger work there. They do the little count.
Yeah, I love that. That comes back later, too, as they start recruiting more guys. The next day, they go and they recruit Bernardo O'Reilly. All right. Now, this is Charles Bronson. Trav, really quick.
This is my heartthrob. This is my heartthrob in this movie. This guy. Just this scene where he's just busting wood. I mean, the shame is that they let him keep his shirt on, but if he had taken it off, Yul and Steve McQueen would have felt so, emasculated. They would have been like, whoa, we need to get, I don't know, compensated extra if that's going to happen.
Crafty. That's the word I was trying to think of. Crafty.
Oh, 2 hours ago?
Yeah,
okay,
Wiley.
Crafty,
Charles Bronson looks great in this scene. We kind of get a little review of his, his resume, as it were. He's been mixed up in some pretty bad shooting things. He gets paid a lot of money. He says $700, $800. Oh, that's a lot of money. How much does this job pay? $20. He's like, well, as I'm sitting out here busting wood just so I can have breakfast, I guess $20 is a lot of money for me now. I'll take it. So that's 3. They got 3, Trav.
Yeah. Got him. We're up to 3.
Well, next they head to recruit Britt, who is my favorite member of the Magnificent Seven. Now he's the strong, silent type, right? And this movie, which is based on the Seven Samurai, this scene almost directly parallels the scene in this where you meet the comparable character. But essentially he's been working hard. He's a cowboy in that day, and he's trying to take a nap, and this guy just keeps antagonizing him, saying, "You're not as good with your knife as I am with my gun," because they apparently had overheard Britt saying this to someone. And so eventually he just talks him into doing a trial run, shall we say. So he's going to shoot at a can that's next to Britt, and Britt's going to throw his knife and stick it in a pole, and we're going to see who's faster, all right? So this is the trial run. Looks like it's about even, all right? And so the guy's talking junk all the way around the little working yard there where Britt's going to get him some coffee. And he's like, "You lost. Go ahead and say you lost." And Britt turned around and said, "No, I won." That's it. That's all he said. Well, this just incenses the guy. He says, "Look, we're doing it for real. We're doing this for reals." And Britt just wants to go back to sleep. He's just trying to go back to sleep. Finally, this man shoots at his feet and forces his hand. Well, he shouldn't have forced Britt's hand because it had a knife in it. Wha-bam! He's twice as fast with a knife than this guy is with a gun. The guy barely cleared leather, and he had a knife in his heart. Trav,
dude,
in his
I know, man.
heart.
From about 20 yards out, just a rifle, looked like frickin' Boomer Esiason with this knife, sends this guy to the afterlife. Frickin' amazing. And then he just casually picks up his saddle and saunters on to find he's being recruited.
Yeah, and
for some magnificent work.
He initially turns him down too. They don't actually show any of that. It's just Chris goes, "Hey Britt, can we talk?" And he's like, "Sure." And then they jump back to the bar, and Chris is telling the 3 from the village that Britt didn't want to come after all, and they said, "Oh, we didn't have enough money for him." And Chris says, "No, it's not a matter of money with him. He does it for the competition. He wants to know he's the best, and he is the best with a gun or a knife." And they're like, "Well, who's he competing with?" "He's competing with himself."
With himself,
dude. Yeah. So bad, eh? So bad, eh?
I know you love James Coburn from our Maverick episode. Mm-hmm. Is he your favorite member of the group, or is he your favorite actor in the movie? Like,
Both.
character, or are you okay?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I like.
All right. He's your heartthrob too. You
know,
you have to have a heartthrob in the movie. Mine's obviously Bronson, and yours is Coburn.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like that's
Okay.
we've got a good set right there. Well,
Sure.
our pal Chico, he's gotten himself hammered. You know, he's impetuous. He's young. He comes rolling in, and he's upset about the clapping thing. And there is a lot of for a cowboy, there's a lot of not safe things done with these guns. He shoots 2 inches from Yul Brynner's face, and Yul Brynner's just casually ignoring him while he's shooting at him. I don't know. Anyway, it's wild, but essentially what Chico's trying to do is antagonize Yul Brynner into fighting him. You know, hey, you embarrassed me, you humiliated me, and I respected you, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, the poor guy just passes out drunk. He fails to get in a fight, and he passes out. But I'm gonna shout out Chris, Yul Brynner here. He gives the bartender some money and says, hey, when he wakes up, he's gonna need a drink. Just go ahead and give him one for when he wakes up.
Gives a little hair of the dog. He'll appreciate that.
You know that bartender didn't give him that drink, right? He totally just put that money in his pocket.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well,
hey, but we don't leave the bar empty. I don't want to say empty-handed, but we don't leave the bar without a new member.
Yeah, that's right. Britt shows up and he says, nah, changed my mind. I don't know why that needed to happen. I don't know why he didn't just come back to the bar with him and he was already a member of the group and this scene would have happened. I don't know why. I don't know why it happened. But anyway.
I guess, I don't know. And that entrance where he comes back in, he's all decked out,
cool.
and he's like 4. I mean, that was cool. It was kind of like Ric Flair and the 4 Horsemen. I don't know. It was kind of neat.
It is. It is pretty cool. Well, Chris is headed back to his room. He's like, boy, I've had a hard day of recruiting. I sure do want to just hit the hay. Well, that's when he finds Robert Vaughn's character, Lee, in his room. We find out that he is willing to work for very little money because of the situation he's in. Right, Trav?
Yeah, he's I guess he's a bit down on his luck, and he had in the past he had some good, I don't know, cowboyness about him, but lately things have taken a hit. I think he's got a little PTSD. He's worried that he's lost his skills. He's not up to snuff anymore. He doesn't know if he can hang, but he'll take the money.
Yeah. Yep. He decides to go, and he does have some PTSD. I can't speak today, man. I really can't. I don't know why we're recording a podcast. I give up. This is it. I quit. We're no longer doing a podcast. It's over.
Well, let's just coast through to the end of this one.
Okay, yeah. We probably should finish up the first season or second season. What season are we on? Who are we, Trav? What is happening?
Are you sure you didn't get hit by the tree? Did the tree hit you?
Maybe just some of the tulips from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, we now have our group members. We have Lee. He has joined. I guess Chris never officially says he's joining, but he's like, forget it. I'm just going to come too. And so that's our 6. We got our 6. All right. So they're headed out back to the village. And Chico, well, he decides to follow him. So he's kind of on his own. He's just sort of following him, at I don't know, maybe 120-yard distance, something like that. But he finally gets himself in the group with the guys. He shows he does have quick hands because he gets in the water, in the creek, and just he's hand grabbing fish out. That's not easy. They're slippery.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's like a friggin' grizzly bear in an Alaska documentary. I was surprised by that. It's like, dang, dude. I don't know how he failed the clap. To me, I was like, maybe he just didn't get the instructions right on that clapping game and got embarrassed. This guy obviously has got some skills.
Exactly. Well, he eventually wins them over with this fish trick because he leaves a whole bunch of fish for them to have for dinner. They're like, all right, come on. You're already following us. And that's when they got 7. Now they got 7. That's the Magnificent 7. Roll the credits.
And that's the end of the movie. Yeah, that's the end of the Fellowship of the 7.
That's right.
Now we got to go to the 2 towers.
Exactly. So they get to the village and they ride in and there's no one there. The streets are deserted. And just the old man is there, and he says, "Hey, look, these guys they're farmers. They're a little hesitant about you guys being gunmen. They're scared, And Chico, he climbs the bell tower and starts ringing the alarm bell, and everybody comes running out. Which again, if they're scared of the gunmen, there's an alarm bell when the gunmen get there. You're just gonna run out empty-handed? Okay, fine, whatever. They all come running out.
I don't know whether there was an alarm bell or a free ice cream bell. I'm not sure, but people run out. But then this is where you really see Chico. I mean, I think he's still kind of trying to compensate for his embarrassment to Chris earlier, because he takes it upon himself to kind of rally the crowd, right? He's like, look, we show up going to defend y'all, and you're just going to be bashful? You hang back? You're not going to... What are we even defending?
Yeah, cold shoulders, man. That's messed up. And he comes down and just starts talking all kinds of trash to the villagers.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys are pathetic cowards, losers. Your personal hygiene is subpar. He goes on for a while, and he is so cringe. Like, Chico in general is just cringe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Do kids still say that? People still say that?
I think that... Yeah, he's on fleek or something. The rest of the other 6 just kind of look on, like, not real sure what to do. They're like, is this bad? Is this good or bad, what he's doing right now? I'm not even sure. Should we shoot him? Just to...
No, then they'd have to change it to the Magnificent 6.5. I don't know. That could be an entirely different movie, Trav. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's what well,
right.
There's jokes that we made them. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've almost taken on your mantle, man. I got to get back to my good ways. I think maybe I had a little bit of a heat stroke when we were cutting that tree down, and I just... not feeling myself tonight, man. I'm sorry. Well, the next day, the village is having a big celebration of their founding. Big party. So they're going to kind of see everybody in a little bit better light. Now, Vin, he says, I've been to towns where the girls are ugly, but I've never been to a town where there are no girls, because there's just no women or girls anywhere in this town. That seems strange, but he figures, what are you going to do? And about that time, a little dude comes running in, and he informs... I can't remember. It was one of the 3. I believe it's his son, actually. One of the 3 that 3 of Calvera's men are up in the arroyo and kind of spying on what's going on. Chris sends Britt and I believe it's Lee. And then, of course, Chico's going to tag along because it's his first chance to get exciting. But I love how there's a lot of subtlety in this scene in that, like, immediately they see this kid come up and talk to Yul Brynner's character, Chris, and all the other guys who are gunmen just instinctively pick up their gun belts, and start putting them on.
Yeah,
like they don't need an explanation. They're just men of the gun. Like, they know the way of the gun. They know that things are about to get real.
I know, man. It's like they've played on the same baseball team for 20 years, and they all come together just with nods and looks. Like, look at each other like, yeah, gun time. Yeah, look over there, gun time.
This is gun time. Well,
I guess back then, though, I mean, there was beer time and gun time, and he didn't give me the beer time look, because that's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up look.
Generally, you have beer in your hand when it's beer time too. Like, that's a pretty good indicator.
True.
And then you have a gun in your hand when it's gun time. So it's a pretty self-explanatory system, really.
Pretty easy system. I guess I was giving them too much credit, but now that it's gun time, everyone goes and they take their positions like this was planned.
Yeah. So Britt and Lee sort of go to where these guys are camping out or whatever, and they just find the horses. So they're like, okay, these guys have walked off. And meanwhile, they're like cross-cutting back to the village and the celebration. I don't know how like authentic the like celebration they were doing to like what like a Mexican farming village would have had back in this time, like what kind of celebration they would have done. But it looks cool. It looks really cool. There's some cool costumes and just like a lot of fun stuff going on and like great music. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of liked it. And they have like this like guy in a deer costume fighting with this other guy. It's cool. It is cool.
You and I should maybe put on some costumes and fight. I was inspired by this.
Yeah, I think so. You could be Uncle Doug, and I'll be his trucker hat, trying to get on the head. I don't know that it's exactly a fight, but
Wait, you're going to try to mount me as a hat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right.
That's why you just agreed to that way faster than I thought you would.
I just miss human connection.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of human connection, the 3 bad guys slip up the sideway, which no one would have saw them coming. Beside Chico, he is startled, but he at least thinks enough to turn around and shoot one of the guys. Britt pulls his gun and shoots the second guy, but the third guy gets to his horse and he takes off riding. And this is the first instance I can think of this gag being pulled in a movie. I don't know if it ever happened before this, but this gag gets pulled a lot now. Basically, the guy is riding away really far. He's got a good bit of distance from Britt on his horse. He's trying to get away, and Britt does this like aiming down the sights of his pistol and just pulls off this incredible shot and shoots the guy off the horse and kills him at 300 yards or whatever it is. And Chico's like, "That's the most amazing shot I've ever seen." And Britt's like, "No, it wasn't. I was aiming at the horse."
Missed the horse. Got the man. Got the man instead.
I'm glad he did kill the bad guy, not the horse. But that gag gets used a lot in movies, and I think I'm gonna just give credit to this movie and say no movie ever did it before this. But
I don't think I've ever seen that gag you're talking about. So this was my first experience with the gag. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I also think this was the first movie to do it.
You know who would know? Burger Champ. My man Burger,
Oh, yeah.
he knows all the things. He would know exactly. He would be like, "Oh, that was actually first used in a serial novel back in the 1930s." Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's not here, but we miss him. Hey, shout out Burger.
He's also not dead, so
I didn't mean he was. I meant he's not here. That's all I meant.
That's too bad he got shot off that horse.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we were aiming for the horse anyway. So, and Chris did tell them to bring back one guy alive, which they really didn't do. This is essentially. You know what? I just want to call back one of the things that Chris said early on when he was talking to the three. He said, you understand what it means when you start something like this, and this is the first little hint they get of what they're in store for, how bad things could get fighting these bandits. So then you get a training montage. There's a lot of such training montages, but basically they got the guns off the dead guys, and the farmers are learning how to shoot.
Pretty fun. You can see them get, they're kind of excited to be showing them stuff at first, and then as any training tends to go, they start to get exasperated, and they're like, "What are you even doing? Who are you shooting? What are you doing? Squeeze the trigger. What are you doing?" And that's kind of fun. It's good to see them get because usually a training montage is all positive,
right?
But this was nice in the one they were like, "All right, a couple of these guys are useless. Can't even use them."
Well, they're also setting some traps and all kinds of fun. Oh, there's a scene here where Harry is trying to find out about those gold mines again, so that's pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Just continue to call that joke back, or running gag. Well, our pal Chico is out just checking out what's going on. He does this weird scene with a cow that doesn't really need to be there, but out of the corner of his eye, he spots a lady woman.
Oh, a lady of the woods. Thank God.
No, Travis. She's a lady of the village who's been hiding in the woods.
Hiding in the woods.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Chico. So here's the thing. The villagers hid the women out of the village because they didn't know if these gunfighters would try to rape them and harm them in some way. And the first thing Chico does is just grab this woman and take her back to the village. He doesn't even say hey, we're going back to the village or whatever. He just kind of grabs her up, and you got to think she's
Caveman
thinking
style.
yeah, she's got to think oh man, they were right. These guys are terrible. So anyway, they get back to the village where they're sort of digging this trench to be a little bit of a trap later, and Yul Brynner's like, "Man, you got to bring these women into town." And he said, "Well, we took them out." And Yul Brynner, you know what I love is he appreciates their caution. He's not mad or insulted that they thought he might be a rapist or a ne'er-do-well. He's just like, I really appreciate your caution. That was probably smart. But now that you know we're not, you need to bring the women into town so we can protect them.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty good scene.
So I like that. I like that a lot. So they do that. Now, dinner time back in the village. And now that, I'm not trying to reinforce stereotypical gender roles, but the women were cooking in this and are, better cooks than the men that had been cooking. And so the Magnificent Seven are having just this massive feast. And I think it's Bernardo comes in, and Charles Bronson, and he's like, "Oh, how's the food?" And they're like, "Oh, it's great, man. There's enchiladas and all this other good stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, well, you know what these kids have been eating in this village? Just beans and tortillas." And they're like, oh, man, they feel bad. So they take all the food out and...
which is what I had tonight, and it's not that bad.
Yeah, dude, I love beans and tortillas, man.
Yeah, man.
Beans are
but anyway, yeah. Went outside and got the pot going. This is where you see a cool Steve McQueen just put a little dollop of whatever that is, some of that Mexican gravy on some plates, making some kids happy, man. That's... just a heartwarming moment.
And he does ask one of the kids, he's like, do you have an older grateful sister? And he's like, no, I don't. He's like, oh, okay. All right, well, enjoy the food. All right, well. So that's kind of fun. So there's more training montages that occur.
And the cool thing about Steve McQueen in a lot of these scenes is that whether or not the camera's focused on him, he's always doing something kind of interesting. If you watch him in just about any scene, he thinks the camera's like he's the focus, that even when he's not always. I think this movie alone is worth a rewatch because of him.
Yeah, he does a great job of like fleshing out that character, making again. This is that person that said, "Oh, I didn't relate to any of the characters." It's like because you're not paying attention. Like they're interesting characters. You know, they do some good world building. That's why I got so angry. Trav, do you remember?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, almost as angry as when you said that Yul Brynner was Vladimir Putin. That was
he looks like Vladimir Putin in a hat.
Made me so angry I felt like rushing out of this room.
Oh my god.
Well, the training montage ensues. People are getting a little bit better at shooting. Chris and Vin decide they need to go visit the old man and tell him, hey, look, you got to come inside the bounds of the village so we can protect you. And he says, nah, I'm good. Calvera's not going to kill me because bullets cost money, and what do I have? Like, I'm not worth killing, really. Like, dang, dude.
Which is pretty sad. It's like, I don't know, you were kind of the reason we're here, so...
You find out the reason he doesn't want to come into town is he doesn't want to stay with one of the farmers because he thinks he's boring. He's like... he's like all they talk about is women and fertilizer, and he's like, fertilizer's not that interesting to me, and women, well, after about 83 I lost interest.
Yeah, like, dang, so you just sit out here all day in the sun hoping to die? Okay.
Well, he's got some corn, and he's probably maybe reads books. I don't know. He probably
You think he's got books out there?
Yeah, probably at least one. Maybe the Bible.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, there's also one of the more famous lines from this movie about the guy that fell off the 40-story building, and much like this podcast, as he was going down, people just kept hearing him say, "So far, so good." So Trav, so far so good. So that's in this movie. There's a quick little scene where Chris is being optimistic, and Vin's like, Calvera's gonna see all these new walls and booby traps we have everywhere. They're just sitting out in the open. He's like, well, maybe he'll be overconfident. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Well, sure enough, speak of the devil, and Calvera comes riding into town. Now, everybody kind of gets their post. They know what they're supposed to do. At least everybody's well trained. There's a kid with a goat. That's cool. You remember Goat Kid?
Yeah, they do the cool. This is I don't know if this is a Lord of the Rings thing, but they got a kid sees him riding in, waves his hat. Another kid, couple 100 feet away, sees the hat, raises it. It's like lighting the torches all the way down. Letting them know that the Mongols are coming, right? But then here's the thing, Kevin.
The Mongols? Are you sure you're watching Lord of the Rings or The Magnificent Seven?
No, I conflated two things there because the Wall of China had torches that they would light all the way down to let them know.
Okay.
I should have maybe just brought up the Wall of China if I was going to mention that. You're right. But
the Wall of China? Okay, now who can't remember words, Trav?
Yeah, it's a pretty decent wall. I don't want to say great all the time and inflate its ego. It's great, sure, okay.
Right.
But anyway, it seems like they have a plan because they got these boys waving hats, and that to me, I was like, oh man, they've drilled, they've gone into this, they've gone over it. But the thing that got to me was when the guy rides into town, all 7 of our dudes, well, maybe 6 of them, there's maybe one unaccounted for, they're just hanging out in the open. And then when the gunfighting starts, they're not hiding behind anything. They got to like run and hide. I'm like, that doesn't seem like it didn't seem like a great plan. There's like no good strategy on that. They're like, all right, here's the plan. We're gonna cook some into the village, and when they get there, we're just gonna stand out in the open and hope we don't get shot at first.
Yeah, and I don't know why they didn't just start shooting right away. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they were trying to resolve it peacefully. Maybe those are the kind of upstanding, magnificent people that are in the 7. I don't know, but it did seem like it was a slightly tactical tactically bad decision, but you do get to hear some cool dialogue.
Yeah, which honestly better than people getting shot, I guess.
Nah, we'll get there in a second. Don't worry.
Okay.
So yeah, one of my favorite lines in this is that Chris tells Calvary, he's like, "Hey man, you can't come to this village anymore. You just go somewhere else and do something or whatever." And Calvary says, "Well, that doesn't solve my problem of feeding my men here." And Chris says, "Well, that's not our line, friend." And then, oh man, Steve McQueen says, "We deal in lead, friend."
Yeah.
Bad A. So bad.
Which he means bullets. When he says that,
yeah.
he's talking about bullets. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're going to start shooting. And, well, sure enough, the gunfight does break out. And there's a lot of fun action here. There's some really good horse stunts in this scene. A lot of really fun, like a lot of, Steve McQueen's character Vin has like this like grab hopping on the horse that's running, and he jumps on the back of it. I don't know if
he
that
gets
was
on a
McQueen.
horse like 5 different times in this movie, and every time Steve McQueen gets on a horse, it's cool.
I don't know.
There's not a
if
single
that one
time he
was
just
Steve
gets on a horse
McQueen.
like a regular dude.
I don't know if that was Steve McQueen. I was trying to watch it to see if I could tell if it was a stunt rider or if it was McQueen, because I do know he did a lot of his own stunts, but I couldn't tell on that one. But
I think it was Steve McQueen.
I don't know. It looked like it. The hair looked different. But
how dare you question the horse getting on abilities of Steve McQueen? This guy rode race cars.
That's true.
I think he just let another man get on his horse?
Yeah, but you don't have to put a saddle on a race car. It already has a seat, so maybe it's just easier that way.
I don't know enough about horses or race cars to know what's right or wrong right now, but I think that was Steve McQueen.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll agree to disagree for now. Well, yes, a lot of gunfighting ensues. The traps work. They end up catching a lot of men, and they drive Calvera out of the town. And shooting's over. Big party. Everybody's excited. I love how like the villagers who were probably like hiding behind a wall and like throwing a rock at them are like just braggadociously talking about how bad. Tough they were, like, oh yeah, I was right in the middle of it,
using a lot of "we" words when it's like the backup center for the Super Bowl champs being like, "We did it," like, bud, you didn't even get your socks wet, like you weren't even out there, you don't even smell bad.
That's about it. Well, they're having this party, and unfortunately the party gets ruined because Calvera and his men have decided not to leave and are shooting some pot shots at the village during this party. Well, Chris and his crew are trying to slip up to kind of take these guys out, right? And they kind of go off to the side. And Bernardo is giving them some cover so that they can kind of go up this embankment. And while he's covering these 3 kids from the village, I love this little subplot. I just love it so much.
This is great because it has a great callback later. This is awesome.
Like the 3 little guys, these 3 kids that are, I don't know if they're the sons of the 3, but they're obviously kids of the village. They come up to Bernardo and they're like, "Yeah, all of us kids in the village, we all drew straws. And if you get we got you, we're adopting you. If you get killed, we will remember your name and put flowers on your grave." He's like,
yeah,
well,
Bronson's character's like, "That's a comfort, I guess. Thanks."
They're like, no, we would be as happy, if not happier, if you didn't die.
Yeah. That's the thing too, because he's like, he sarcastically says, "Yeah, that's nice," and they're like, "See, guys, I told you he'd appreciate it." I told you guys.
No, they say that they will take up his rifle and avenge him, which sounds awesome. And then they'll put flowers. Oh,
that's
on his
right.
grave.
Then they'll, yeah. Either way, I think Charles Bronson's character does appreciate it. But this is also like after the first like run-in with the gang, this next like segment is a lot of like relationship. Mm-hmm. Not building, just relationship adding on to. Yeah. Some of it got a little dry for me, but it pays off later.
What did you think of Hilario's monologue that he has with Vin, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm scared, but when I think of the feeling in my chest today when we drove Calvera out of here, that's worth dying for." That's pretty good.
I thought that was probably my favorite scene in the movie was this conversation. It makes him relatable, and it makes Vin also seem relatable because he's like, "Yeah, my palms are sweaty and I'm a little scared too."
Yeah, palms are sweaty.
It's really cool.
Mom spaghetti.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
That's right. Vomit on the sweater already. Okay, all right. You know where we're going. Everyone
Mom
else
spaghetti
does.
western.
That's
Yeah.
Thanks, Trav. That was really good, bud. It kind of takes the wind out of it if I go, that was really good, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Well, there's a scene with Petra, who was the girl who Chico spotted in the woods earlier. Yeah, and they've kind of got like a little chemistry after all. There's a little awkward, sort of tender moment here.
Yeah. Then that's all there is to that.
Yeah, there isn't a lot there. We just need a romantic subplot. That's really just what we needed going on. So, well, they all come back to the village and meet back up, and they're a little nervous about Calvera's intentions. And so, the fighters talk about like the difficulty of being in their lifestyle and the gunfighter, and Lee, he has this speech, he's trying to cover up his PTSD, and he's like, I've got no enemies. And Chris says, no enemies? None alive, that is. Well, during this scene, Chris just offhand jokingly, they have one of Calvera's men's hats, and he just offhand jokingly tells Chico, he's like, hey, why don't you, if you want me to write a song about you, because Chico's talking about how, like, people in the village will write songs about them and their heroics. Like, yeah, if you want me to write a song about you, why don't you just walk up to Calvera and ask him what he's got planned for tonight? Ha, 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 ha. And Chico's dumbass does it. He puts the hat on and rides up and it works. It works.
Yeah, dude, that was a crazy part of the movie because I think I gotta admit it was a little bit late. My attention was waning around here, and there's this whole scene. There's a lot of dialogue. I kind of come to where he's hanging near Calvera, just like lighting a cigarette, and I was like, wait, and I had to rewind it and be like, what the hell did I miss? And like, yeah, it's that simple. He's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go do that.
But you could see like some young impetuous guy, like just an off the cuff remark. He's like, all right, I'll show you. I'll do it.
Yeah, so funny.
So dumb and dangerous. But I'm glad it worked out because they did find out that Calvera is not going to leave. His men are starving. So that was the valuable bit of information. We also get a scene.
Well, also, too, Calvera only has, he says he only has 40 men in his posse, but he apparently just doesn't recognize one as being.
Dude, I couldn't. If I had 40 people, I
don't know, 40 people you ride around with and try to, steal stuff, I feel like you'd know them pretty well.
Nah.
You'd be like, hey, when did you join, bud? How's it going? My name's Calvera. What's your name?
It's dark though. It's nighttime. He's got the hat on. He's probably like, is that George? Oh, that's George. Yeah, that's definitely George. Yeah, that's George's hat, and he's a young guy. Sure, it's fine. I don't know. Maybe Calvera's at the age that I'm at now, where all young people just look alike. Maybe that's. I'm like, you're sub 25. You don't even exist yet. Like you don't have any distinguishing features. Just kidding. If you're under 25, you're very special and you matter a lot.
Yes,
we do see a little bit of Lee is having a nightmare, and the guys wake him up, and we see a little bit of his PTSD, and we know that he's afraid. He's very, very afraid to be in a gunfight because he's he's got all this stuff going on. Chico rides back. He's going to let everybody know what's going on. Now we have Sotero, and Sotero says, "Look." He's sort of like the mayor, he says, we gotta yield. We gotta give up, man. We can't do this. And again, Chris says, I asked you if you knew what it meant when we started something like this. And they all sort of shout out Sotero. He gets outvoted. Everyone wants to continue fighting.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've come this far.
So some of the seven, the Magnificent Seven, that is, in fact, almost all of them. Chris suggests they try to go out and even the odds a little bit, maybe pick off some of the stragglers, much like a herd of wildebeest. When the weak one gets in the back, they're going to kind of do that, But they're going to try to even the odds a little bit, And so Chico is, of course, bragging to Petra about his spy exploits, and there's another little tender moment there, isn't there, Trav?
Oh yes, they get real close. Even get a smooch. We get a smooch in the movie. I was hoping there would be a smooch, but I was hoping it would be me and Charles Bronson, but it was not.
You were hoping somehow Charles Bronson would come out of the movie and kiss you?
Yeah, it was just a hope. I didn't expect it, but I was hoping.
Okay. You were hoping. I got you. It was a hope and a dream.
Didn't happen.
Well,
But my TV's now covered in lipstick.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I had to pause it because I couldn't see the screen, Trav.
I'm glad you paused it on Charles Bronson, though. That actually helped.
Yeah, I know. I was looking. Like I said, man, I'm looking out for my boy.
Thanks, bud.
Well, Chris and the guys, they go out and try to drive off some of the horses, to which they are sort of marginally successful. But when they come back to town, it turns out Calvera has made a deal with Sotero and is taken back over the town. Sotero's like, I'll tell you what, I'll sneak all 40 of these guys back in somehow while the gunfighters are out of town and let you take back over. I don't know what he thought he was going to gain out of it. Maybe that he would save people's lives. I mean, certainly he, had good intentions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think he thought if he made this deal, then there would be less bloodshed, which is what he was worried about the whole time.
That's right. Well, Calvera basically tells the Magnificent Seven. He says, "Well, guys, I'm gonna have you take your guns off. You got to take your guns off here in front of me, so all these villagers see it and see you. Basically recognizing the crown, recognizing that I'm the victor here. We'll ride you guys out of town. I'll give you your guns back, and that'll be it. I'll never see you again." And he does think that. He does think that. Again, he doesn't want to spend... I guess he doesn't want to spend the money on bullets and potentially losing some of his guys in a gunfight with them. So he
also says, like, if I kill you, then
you might have
somebody
friends.
bigger and badder will hunt us down, like the military or something.
Yeah. And he thinks, and he's not wrong necessarily to think this, that, all right, I'm going to send these guys out. They were doing this for money. They're not going to come back to help this village. Well, he rides them out of town and gives them their guns back and tells them to get
Go
on
now,
out of here.
get. You know how Doug will get like that sometimes. Go on now, get. I got to go to bed.
That's
go on now.
I thought I was in the room with Doug for just a second there. Well, they do decide to go back. Essentially, I think it really starts with Britt. He just goes, nobody tosses me my guns and tells me to leave.
Right, and then the other ones are like, you know what, samesies.
Which I got to say, Britt sounds like a terrible house guest. Like, dude, party's over. You got to leave. Nobody tells me to leave. Oh.
Man, as much affection as Doug has for James Coburn, he would be like, seriously, you got to go. Go on now, get. Yeah, I got work at 4.
Well, all the fellas come riding back into town, and they're trying to play it. They're trying to play it quiet, but I think it's Vin, Steve McQueen's character, that goofs it up. Just somebody walks around the corner. He's like, "Well, guess I got to start shooting people." So he does. He does start shooting. I should mention Harry. He is the one that is really in it for what he thinks is the money. Decides he's going to split. He's like, "I'm not going back. There's no money. I'm out." So we have a Magnificent Six go back in, and there's all kinds of gunfighting happening.
Oh yeah, yep. And hey, we get a little. You get to see all 6 kind of split up and do their own thing, getting their own pickles, and our 6 starts to dwindle, Kev. It starts to get kind of sad because you've been bonding with these boys, and you think they're magnificent. They're going to see it all the way to the end, but
And the first one,
they don't.
The fall you would expect it not to be, would be Harry. And Harry decided to come back after all. Chris ends up in a little bit of a tight spot. He's stuck against this door. And so Harry comes riding in and says he's going to save him. And he gets shot trying to save Chris. And Chris manages to grab him, and they get inside. And Harry's like, "Come on, man. I'm dying now. Just tell me, was it a gold mine the whole time?"
He's like, "Oh, yeah. Yep, sure was, bud. Deep with gold."
And so at least Harry dies thinking like, all right, I'm not a sucker. There really was money. Haha. So I think that was okay to lie to him.
I love his death scene too, because he just goes, "I'll be damned," and then just turns his neck and dies.
Yeah, it was definitely a little touch of old movie dying there. Definitely happening. Lee, even though he's scared, summons his courage, kicks open a door, and shoots like 8 guys, and saves the 3, right? Like the 3 farmers, and sends them out, and they start to rally all of the farmers. Well, he walks out. This is the lamest death in the movie, I think. He walks out, he's feeling good about himself, and then somebody just runs by and shoots him.
Yeah, well, he's kind of confused. Like, did I just? Am I back? Pop. you're not back. You're dead.
He's dead. So he gets. I do think that they didn't have to do Lee like that. That was messed up.
No.
Well,
no.
Calvera sneaks up on the window and just stands there rather than shooting. Shooting Chris. Chris gets.
This is kind of like an unceremonious boss battle too, because this is like Yul's character and Calvera, and he just like peekaboo, shot, dead.
Exactly.
There was no. I expected like a monologue, like "How dare you? You're back," some words, but no, just.
Well,
Boop.
With him getting dropped, even Sotero gets in the action. He picks up a stool and he starts beating one of the bad guys to death. Unfortunately, I'm a little choked up just thinking about it, Trav. But my favorite character, Britt. He's going after one of the bad guys, and he, bang, gets shot. He gets dropped, and he pops out his switchblade and chucks it just as he's like falling over and dying, and boom, sticks it into like a sandbag or something, like into the wall. Like it's his last action. Like he's still fighting, and he's shot like through the heart. Like he was straight up shot through the heart and still trying to take that guy out. That's bad, eh?
It kind of is, except you realize his last throw went into like a brick nearby. Like, man, that one. I really wish his last throw like hit a dude, but it was a lame duck.
Yeah,
it's like a flat, like Tom Brady throwing a flat football in the Super Bowl.
Hey, easy on Brady, all right, man. That's never been proven. But unfortunately, yes, Britt does get killed. Bernardo gets killed, saving those kids that adopted him.
I know, man. He gets shot like off a roof and falls, and then the boys come and talk to him, and it's all kinds of sad. I hated it.
And he points out, because the boys were embarrassed by their fathers earlier for giving up to Calvera, and they were calling them cowards and stuff, and Bernardo didn't like that. And so he looks into the village, and he sees the fathers are fighting, and he says, look how brave your fathers are. And they're like, oh, wow, yeah. And then he's like, remember my name. And they're like, your name's Bernardo. And then he just dies. And then they weep. Because they're like, actually, it'd be great if you were our dad, but, well. Yeah, we wanted Charles Bronson to be our dad. And then I had to pause it there because you were crying. It was, that's fine. Well,
yeah.
The fight is over. Bad guy has been dispatched, and the old man offers the gunslingers a place. But the gunslingers, there's only Chris, Vin, and Chico left. They know that, no more guns in the valley. Just like Shane said, people always look at you different when they know what you're capable of. So they need to ride away.
Got to ride on. Right.
Yeah. But you know what happens? Chico decides to stay after all. He sees that pretty girl, and he says, you know what, fellas? I'm going to stay. And he rides. Out of all of them, you expect, like, he's definitely going to want to go because he's the hothead. But, man, a woman will do it to you every time, Trav. So he rides back.
The village woman did it to him. The one woman credited in the movie. Got him.
Just the one. So he rides back. And so Petra's got like a not a grinding stone. I guess it's a stone that you kind of scrape corn across to get the corn, kernels off of it.
Which is how the movie began. It was the village doing this. Full circle.
And so he rides back up, and she sees that he rides back up and takes his gun belt off, and she starts moving that corn on that grinding stone in a way that I'm like, you know what? He made the right decision.
Yeah, boy, she was really cobbing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was getting the corn on the cob and off of it. She was getting the corn off. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that was sort of the gist of the movie. There's a little more dialogue between Vin and Chris, and he's like, you know what? The only people that win are the farmers, and you know what? Maybe they should. And they ride off into the sunset, Trav.
Right off, and then they probably meet up with Shane somewhere and have a beer because everybody just rides off at the end of these movies, and you assume they ride off somewhere.
That's right, man. Whoo, Trav, that was a humdinger right there, wasn't it?
Boy, my dinger was hummed on. I tell you what, it was a pretty fun movie, Kevin. I'm glad we selected it out of the bin because it's been on my list for a long time. Now, I've never seen the original that it's based on. Was it Seven Samurai?
Yeah.
I've not seen that.
Fantastic.
I wonder if I've done myself a disservice if I should have seen the what do you call it, the original material, the baseline before I saw this interpretation. But
no, I think you'll still appreciate it. Yeah, I think you'll still like. I'm actually surprised you haven't seen that as much as you like Ghost of Tsushima.
Material.
Yeah.
Source material was what I was trying to say there. Yeah, you're right. No, I just it's just slipped past me, but I will. One day.
If you really want to make a weekend of watching movies that are connected to Akira Kurosawa films, you start with Yojimbo, your bodyguard. So you watch that one. Then you watch Fistful of Dollars, the Sergio Leone movie. And then you watch Last Man Standing, starring Bruce Willis. All three of those movies are the literal same movie, all homaging each other. It's pretty interesting to kind of see like all the different parallels and between them. Really, really good weekend right there. You know,
I can't think of a better way to spend a weekend than watch the same movie 3 different ways. I'd love to.
You've got all the time in the world, right, Trav? You ain't trying to beat no video games, are you?
No. What are video games? Whatever. Movie time is a movie podcast. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we pulled it out of the bin. I just love seeing this ensemble cast together. This was a treat.
Yeah. Well, how about you hit me with some of those post-credit reviews?
Yeah, I got a couple here, right? So these are the reviews that maybe have a little bit of a spoiler in there. We wanted to save until after we walked through the plot. This is a 5-star from a one invalid user. That's a clever name on the internet. March. This is an old one, Kev. This is March of 2014. It's almost a decade-old review. All right, we were just boys back then. It says, still one of the great action films with a to-die-for cast playing nicely defined, likable characters. As ever, John Sturges brings the action scenes off beautifully while also allowing a bit of genuine heart to shine through. Better than Seven Samurai? Not sure, despite using the same plot and being technically in the same genre. They're very chalk and cheese, apart from both being essential cinema.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of words there.
What is chalk and cheese? Who's ever said that?
I don't know. I thought it was maybe a typo, or you just didn't know how to say words again. But
no, you see it there, huh?
Chalk and genre. They're very chalk. Is that another way to say tongue in cheek? Because it kind of sounds like it, like in some of the diphthongs.
I also think maybe like he's saying they're technically the same movie, but they're also as different as chalk and cheese.
I'm so thoroughly confused. What I can say is that I also agree this is a 5-star movie. It's good. It's a good one.
There you go. Invalid user, your opinion here is valid. All right, up next. This is someone you gotta find people that are assholes. We got a 2.5 from Austin 278. This just March of this year. It's basically Seven Samurai, but a Western. How lazy can you get?
I mean, it's Hollywood. Like, literally, they've just been making the same 4 movies over and over.
Lazy! I just am amazed at the things people critique about things. If it's a good movie, why are you mad?
I don't know. This comment reeks of somebody who's trying to be clever, but just isn't.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's the Fellowship of the Ring of Westerns.
Wouldn't the Fellowship of the Ring be the fantasy remake of the Magnificent Seven?
Yeah, kind of technically. Yeah.
Well, I guess Tolkien's novels came out like the 30s, so maybe John Sturges and Akira Kurosawa got together, read Tolkien one weekend, and decided
they just read Fellowship. They were like, God, that didn't really end. But I bet we could take it and end it. We could take this and make it better.
I got this one.
And then
idea.
Two Towers came out, and they were like, well, that went a different direction.
I don't know. That's the fan fiction I want to see. I want to see that movie of those guys working together on that. But Trav, you know what? I've been thinking we should, when we watch these movies, maybe occasionally recap like what was our favorite scene? Like what was your favorite scene in this movie? Like what really grabbed you?
There are a bunch. I really did. I mentioned it. I liked it was a Hilario talking to Vin right before the firefight, because you got to see, like, you know, Hilario's like me. He's just a dude that was in a situation where now he's got to kill people, and he's like, do your palms get, like, do you get nervous? Like, is this, like, you do this a lot, and this is like my first time, and I'm scared. And Vin's like, yeah, dude, that's pretty normal. I just am cool. I'm better at, like, hiding it. I just thought that was a really cool touch. I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah, that's a good
Wasn't
one.
an action scene. It was kind of forgettable for most people, but I really liked it.
No, and like the acting was really good there too. Like you believed and you understood why he was fighting and risking his life for his village. You're like, yeah, this guy's all right. Yeah, man. I got to go back to that scene with Britt and the knife gunfight. where he gets like egged on into like just straight up switchblade knifing a dude in the heart. Like, it's just awesome. It's so awesome.
And that's a great one, and I could just watch Charles Bronson chop wood for hours.
Yeah, you were really worried about Bronson's wood. Well, on a budget of $2 million, The Magnificent Seven went on to gross $9.75 million and is one of the best known and loved films of the Western genre. The film was an American Western retelling, as we've talked about, of Akira Kurosawa's 1954 film Seven Samurai, and in the rare instance, both of those films are absolute masterpieces, and you need to watch Seven Samurai. Now, 3 sequels were eventually made. You had Return of the Seven in 1966, Guns of the Magnificent Seven in 1969, and The Magnificent Seven Ride! ! Very important. You got to use both hands for it. 1972. But even Yul Brynner, he bowed out after Return of the Seven, and he was replaced as Chris Adams. Same character, new actor, very James Bond treatment, by another Western icon in Lee Van Cleef. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this film even inspired a Denzel Washington-led remake that was more meh than magnificent, but it managed to be a little bit of popcorn fun back in 2016. Heck, Trav. There was even a TV series that aired from 1998 to 2000, and I think I'm the only person that saw it. It's that good. The original film, though, is so well loved. It is sitting, as of this recording, at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes and has been selected for preservation not only in the Library of Congress, but in the Bin of Doug.
Ooh, high acclaim in the Bin of Doug. Yeah. Wowee. This is a good one. Let me ask you, Kev, because I know you're a Western guy, maybe, perhaps more so than me. You pit Shane against the Magnificent Seven. Which one?
I like the Magnificent Seven better.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, me too, but Shane's still good.
I think you just have such a I think Shane's a little bit of a, if you'll forgive the pun, the dark horse in that situation, because nobody was really expecting it to be as good as it is, you know. But this one, you had just the all-star cast, the top-notch action. The one of the things that this movie does so well is the quipping, like the one-liners. You know, there's a scene where Vin asks Chris, he's like, "Did you get shot?" He's like, "Nope, I wasn't elected, but I was definitely nominated." And you could tell like the end of his cigar was shot off. Like just little lines like that, and like the dynamic and camaraderie between the fellas really makes this movie work for me.
There's a lot of good comedy in here too. We didn't talk about it. There's a scene with Robert Vaughn where everyone has a really cool shot of them shooting up dudes, and it cuts to him, and he's just sweaty against a wall praying to God. Like it's funnier than we could really like speak about, just because a lot of it's subtle, and it just deserves to be watched.
Yeah, it's really good, man. Well, Trav, you got a little hint for the next movie that we're going to cover. I think that's going to be our season finale for this season, isn't it?
That's right, it is. And
we're going to go out strong, right?
I think so. Real strong, real muscular. It's going to be a movie starring Arnold. All right, we'll just give that away. Bit of an oxymoron in the title. Okay.
Got it.
Right. That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good clue though.
Yeah. So Kindergarten Cop.
It's not a
just kidding. It's not.
That's a good movie. I
but
like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, it is good. Maybe a season near you. But folks, if you enjoyed this episode, you might like our other podcasts. You can catch me on most of the great podcasts, not only on Earth, but especially over on Polymedia Network. You can find Kevin. He's on the Board Game Podcast, Blue Peg, Pink Peg. You can catch both of us on a stage at the same time with the Big Lit Conspiracy doing improv comedy. You might even catch us in and around the Roanoke area doing the stand-up comedy. And to keep this podcast saving small farming villages, consider supporting Polymedia on Patreon. There's a tier there for everybody. Get you access to one seriously cool Discord community. You can find all the information on how to do that down in the show notes. And of course, we've got to thank the man, the myth, the legend Harvest Black for the magnificent theme music. And just like our Uncle Doug always says,
we deal in lead, friend.